Hey, little mishap before we even start talking. Well, welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Another edition of Couples Conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. Spring is trying to come in.
Trying to come in. The sun is trying to come out. A little nip in the air, but
yeah. I've been here a while. Is it warmer?
It's a little warmer.
It's a little warmer.
Not so much of a nip, but a little nip.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I guess we got stuff to talk about.
We do have stuff.
We're not even picking topics today. There was just so many things to discuss.
Yeah.
I was amazed about. There was even one we could discuss.
Right.
That came in, and we'll wait till next week or next 2 weeks.
Okay.
There was an article in the New York Times.
It was
About a woman that was having. She was divorced but having affairs with married men, and she had a very interesting take on what men feel they need.
Oh. So as a divorcee, she felt that these married men deserved.
Well,
she could provide for them because they were missing.
What's missing? Yes.
Oh. So
she was going in. I don't want to give it away. We don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
But she was going in and trying to. She didn't want to get married again, but she wanted companionship. So
I can already see the conversation formulating in my brain.
So that's just a basic deal, Oh, we have people today. We have people here.
Hey, how about it, Darius Jackson?
Yeah, Tina.
Yeah, how you doing? Welcome.
Glad you guys are here.
All right.
So let's see. So we're going to talk about. Let's see. What does a spouse appreciate about you? We're going to end with that because we're always going to end with something positive.
Yes.
But are men no longer marrying for love?
Yes, that was a very interesting question that you posed this week on Couples Conversation.
And then you want to bring up a sore subject, why women can go on vacation with their BFFs, but men can't?
Right. I think it's a double standard, and I think that it's a double standard that we have to put to rest.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. That may be an assumption up there. We're gonna deal with that. And then what is your primary relationship?
Right.
And I think that's a balance between spouse and kids.
Well, it depends.
Well, we're going to see. I think that also comes across gender lines too. So we're going to talk about that. So I'm going to start with are men no longer marrying for love?
So when I saw that on the Facebook page, and it really piqued my interest because I'm thinking, are men no longer marrying for love, and are they really just marrying the person that's around at the time that they want to get married? And if that's the case, why would they do it? So I did a little digging and found an article to support that conversation.
Yes, okay. I have it here.
And he does have the article there, and it's actually true that 25% of men, I think the article stated it's about 25% of men, get married for different reasons. One gentleman was very candid in the article, and he said that he loved this woman for a very long time, but when he wanted to get married, she was already planning her wedding. So he couldn't go back and speak to her about getting married to her because she was marrying somebody else.
Right.
They said that they married because they want a home-cooked meal every night, or they don't want to come home to an empty home.
Wow. Is that crazy?
That's crazy, but not crazy. Because, you get to a point in your life where you do want companionship. And sometimes companionship outweighs love depending on what you've experienced in your life with your former relationships.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that what friendship is for?
But sometimes you can't lay down and be intimate with your friends. So there's also the sexual part of it as well.
Okay. But women, it was slightly higher though. So they said it's about 30%. So I can see that maybe from a women's standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because we all know couples get married later anyway.
Right.
They get married much later because due to careers, maybe they're not leaving us.
Right.
The whole online dating revolution, Tinder and all that.
Yeah.
And they're waiting till later, so they're like, look, I've already done that part, the sex part maybe. Now I just need someone companionship. But some of the things that they mentioned, and shout out to Amanda Chatto, who talked about it on the Your Tango, fellow Your Tango blogger. So dinner.
Yeah.
They need dinner.
They need dinner.
I mean, I guess they're done with the microwave, or
they don't want to be a bachelor and eat out every night.
Eat out every night. Just cook though.
But I mean, but there's dinner is just more than a meal. It's more than just having a meal prepared for you. Dinner is sitting down and having a conversation with somebody and sharing something with somebody over a meal. So that's, to me, that's dinner. I mean, everybody's definition might be a little bit different, but for me, dinner is sitting with somebody.
Right. But
Like, I could have a meal by myself, but I want dinner with somebody.
Right, but dinner, I mean, they're expecting to get a home cooked meal.
Right.
As opposed to, so they're not cooking either. They're expecting the spouse.
Right.
Or the wife to cook.
Right. So which is fine. Because if he picks the right one, she will cook for him every night. It's all about who you pick.
Oh, yeah, but see, with the premise with that, she's probably cooking, I guess, because to show love.
Right.
To the spouse. But his premise is that,
I just want
I just need the meal.
Right.
You forget the love part.
Right.
I need my stomach.
Right.
My stomach needs the love, so therefore, if you're preparing, then that's good.
Right.
But okay, give us some of the other ones. Laundry?
Yes.
Okay, laundry.
Some men never learn how to do their laundry because they've had a mother do it for them all their lives, or a nana or what have you. And then they go out into the world, they get jobs, they have laundromats do their laundry for them. And then they get beyond the phase where they want to pay for it, so they want somebody to do it.
Wow. I mean, that sounds like servitude, though.
It does. These are, I mean, they're not great reasons, and I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that there's the why behind, you know what I mean? It's the why. Comfort, I said before. See that one, yeah. Now this one, everyone else is doing it. So you get to that point where you're like, okay, I'm at this stage now. Everybody else has done it.
I no longer have anybody to hang out with.
Right, because everybody's coupled up.
I guess I got to do it too.
Got to couple up too. If I want to see my boys, I got to couple up.
You got guilt?
Guilt? Because they waited so long?
I don't
get the guilt part. I get the guilt part. Maybe they've been dating someone for a long time and they feel like they owe the individual. So they feel guilty for not having married them sooner, even though they don't love them, so they feel guilty and like they should marry them sooner.
Oh, right.
Right. That's what I feel. Yeah, that's the only way I can see the guilt working.
But they had ultimatum on there, though.
Guilt, ultimatum, kind of close.
Isn't that kind of the same thing?
Kind of.
The old ultimatum out there.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Now, fear.
Right. Fear of being alone.
Fear of being alone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
The settling factor. So I'm just going to settle.
Right. I can't have the one I want, so I'll just.
So just be the one you're with? Yeah. There's a song
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, for sex.
Right, for sex.
So, even maybe she doesn't want to have sex, so that's prerequisite. They have to do that.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Growing up. So that's kind of like
that's the next thing.
That's everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to that. It's like the evolutionary thing. Like you've now reached this part of your manhood, and you have to. That's the next stage in your life.
Yeah, but they said men, but are doing it. So do you think women are doing it too?
I absolutely believe that women are doing it because there's women that marry men that they don't totally love all the time.
Right.
It happens. I mean, it's less spoken about, I would say, because women know how to just get by things.
And so those are the people that need to see. They need to see Coach Keith.
Right. They need to
because after that's not going to last.
It's not going to last, and then
that's going to last probably a couple of years.
Yeah.
Maybe
a year. And then there's going to be a lot of problems.
2 or 3. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And then they'll be like, I'm making dinner every single night, and this is all I'm getting.
Yeah.
Or,
right.
I'm doing your laundry, and we're not doing
now that we're married, he's still hanging out.
He's still hanging out.
She's still hanging out.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating.
They're going to be seeing Coach Keith for a long time.
I hope so. I hope so. Coach Keith. That call it in.
That would be like your bankroll right there. All those couples that are getting married. That's hard.
Yeah. So, I mean, would you want to know that, though, up front?
I think I would. I mean, but it would have to be someplace where both of them are in the same place.
They have to be, They
have to be in the same place.
You can't bring that up. It's like, well, I'm not really married because I don't love you. But,
right.
You cook a mean stew.
Right? Like,
right?
Man, like,
this is just banging. I gotta.
Your twice baked potato is like off the chain. Like, you gotta, woo! I'm married.
But man's heart is the stomach, right? So
the woman might be thinking like, well, he doesn't seem too into it, but we've all heard that, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, and in these cases, it's not necessarily.
Or I just need a companion. That I need somebody to talk to.
Right.
So I mean, I got my food game's just got to be on.
And don't get me wrong, there's women that marry and they're not totally in love because their biological clock is ticking.
Right.
They want a family. They want that status of having a husband. They don't want to be alone either. You know, so there's certain things. There's even pressure from certain industries where for advancement, it's better if you are a family person.
Right.
So, you know, depending on if they're ultra career minded and they're in one of those industries, that might be their driving force to get married, man and female.
Even our president. Maybe he's operating.
Maybe.
You know?
No, he's a little extra.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
we can't.
Maybe we can bring it. I just threw that throw
I know,
and just do the recent exploits.
Right, exactly. I mean, we can all do that, but but it's not openly spoken about. It's something that probably should be openly spoken about. And if these people want to get married, not because they're in love, but because they're fond of one another,
right,
then have that conversation.
But I think if there was more of an arrangement,
right, that's what I'm saying. Have that conversation
earlier,
right.
Then at least everybody would know where they stand
and then
the choices.
Agree that when it doesn't work anymore, it doesn't work, and then.
But I guess when you get a sense, wouldn't the other person get a sense that they're not so enamored with the person?
You would know.
You know, right?
You would know early on.
Early, yeah.
So if you decide to stay.
So then they're just for themselves. Then.
Right, and then if you decide to stay with that old, well, I can change them.
Because they're spending all sorts of money.
All sorts of money.
On this move out wedding.
Right.
And then they know.
And they know
in their heart
that this is not the love match. This is not the love boat. It's not happening.
Wow, that's nuts.
It's not love connection.
That's nuts out there. What can you do? So then the next one was, let's see, so then they've gotten to that.
Right.
So should that be there? So then the kids come.
Right.
So should that marriage be the primary relationship? And that's just, even if they're both in love.
Right.
Should the kids be the primary relationship, or should your marriage be the primary relationship?
Nobody's marriage should be the primary relationship. But I'm a big Christian, so
yes,
God is the first primary relationship.
Right, and I get that too.
Right,
I agree.
But yes, your husband or your wife should be your first relationship.
Should be your first.
And then your children, and then everybody else.
Okay, good. So I'm glad you're going to take that side.
Yes.
So I'm going to take the other side.
Okay.
Just because,
that was out.
We can't both agree.
We can't.
So people that are very child oriented are going to say, no, my spouse doesn't need me to survive, to breathe, or to grow.
Right.
They're already grown.
Right.
My kids need me. So, if we gotta cancel a date here and there, or we may not necessarily have sex tonight because the baby's crying or that's just the way it's gonna have to be. That's what you have to handle that.
But then that's different. It's not that it's not a relationship isn't a relationship built on need. So children are a responsibility more so than they are a relationship in the beginning. They're a responsibility. You build a relationship with your children as they get older. When they're infants and they need you 24/7, they are a responsibility. They're your child. Your husband or your wife is your relationship because you're committed to one another. You're committed to being a unit. You're committed to the way of life that you're creating for yourselves first and then your family. So you have to maintain that unity and that relationship so all the other parts of your family unit can flourish. If you take away from that unit, the husband and the wife unit, and then focus solely on the children because they need you, which they do, I'm not taking that away from that at all, but if you take so much focus off of your spouse and put it all towards the children, the rift begins to grow. And then there's resentment. You spend all your time with the kids, you don't spend any time with me, we used to do this, we don't do this anymore. You still have to maintain that primary relationship. It was you and he and she and you before it was you and them.
Okay, but but even though it is a responsibility, the kids can be an all-encompassing thing.
But you still have to make time and effort to ensure that you don't lose what you and your spouse have already created.
That's true. We can make time. It just may not be It's just not all the time.
Right, but it's still your primary. It's still your primary relationship. you still have to put a good amount of time in that.
Well, you have to put a good amount of time in both of them.
Right.
So if one may just have to skew more, it's just got to skew more to the kids.
Not all the time. It varies.
Well, it's going to vary. Yeah, well, it's going to vary.
Okay.
It's a matter of just not, when the kids need. The kids need.
Or when mommy and daddy need. Get a sitter.
What if mommy don't need much? Need as much?
She doesn't know what she needs because she's in hyper kid mode.
Right, that's right. Hyper kid mode.
So then the husband has to step up and be like, yo, mommy's in hyper kid mode. I need to take her away for a minute and remind her. And then he's going to get the sitter and he's going to send the kids away or whatever. And he's going to send the kids to grandma and grandpa for the weekend. And he's going to whine and dine her.
So he's going to have to step up.
He'll have to step up because she will be so focused on the kids. Or, and I've seen it where the men have been very focused on their children. It depends on who the individual is.
But what if he doesn't see that though? Then if he doesn't see that, then that's too bad. So he might not be stepping up. He's out. He's pouting in the corner.
He might be pouting in the corner, and she might be like, "Well, what are you pouting for?"
What are you pouting for, right? Kids, right? So
then she has to realize I've neglected, or I might be doing a little bit too much. There has to be a give and take, and there has to be a responsibility to the first relationship, which is the husband and wife.
But there may be an argument there.
Arguments aren't necessarily that.
Right, they're not. But I think of what I perceive is that that other spouse doesn't bring it up, and so they'll let it go silent. Great. Back to the article that we're going to talk about, even though the spouse, or it was primarily the men, didn't want to hurt their spouses. So they may be concentrating, so therefore, they needed sex, and so they're going to go elsewhere. They're going to go elsewhere, but they're not going to tell their wives about this. And so, the reason may be because they're in either hyper kids mode or whatever the reasons may be.
Right.
So you, as a man, you know that you have, you are part of the reason why the kids are there.
Right.
But you weren't the carrier of the children.
Right.
So therefore, that bond they can't break. I mean, I knew my wife was, when the kids came, it was like, whoa, she was just enamored, and I get it. It was a bond, and it was a life that you created. So it's like you almost feel like this is my child. When they say it all the time, right? You guys say it all the time. This is my child, especially when
I usually say that's
jump
your
off.
child. I'm quick to say that's your child.
That's your child. Why is that?
I'm a different individual, so it took me a while to create that bond. Even though I carried my children. So well, no, I was just really career focused, and I never thought that I was gonna have kids. So when I got pregnant, it was really a huge surprise. Then she came really early, and it was very traumatic. So I wasn't even really able to bond with her. In the first 2 months she spent in the NICU. So so there wasn't that instant bond. So when she did come home, it was a lot of work to try and make have that bond. So it was, this is your kid, like go check on your daughter. She's crying. You know what I mean? Like, hey, she needs a feeding, whatever, whatnot. Like it was a while for me to be at the point where I was like, oh my God, I love this kid. You know what I mean? So and some women go through that. So, but now, they have things where, men can take off work, paternity leave, and create that bond with their child. So it just depends. But I really still feel, no matter what, at the end of the day, the primary focus is the husband and wife, because if they're not okay, then everything's not okay.
That's true. And like I said, I was perfect. I do agree with you. I do think that should be primary to God first, and then your husband, wife second. Only because, if that doesn't work, that's going to be a problem later for everybody. I mean, just the legacy. Your kids, want your kids to see that And I think there was even some comments about that a woman she saw the bad relationships in her family and made a very conscious effort to make sure that didn't occur, even though there were some pains, some struggles that wanted her to pull away, but she made a conscious effort to make sure that this happened.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter and I just had that conversation in the car. I think I even mentioned it to you like a week or two ago. We were talking about family and, how she was being raised and, why we felt certain things were important and, why do parents raise their kids the way that they raise their kids. And I think she was just noticing different dynamics between our home and some of her friends' homes. And, I said, listen, she's like, because you always say grandma did this and grandpa did this and this, that, and the other thing. And when you grew up, you had a ball and a stick and this and, things that we tell our kids, which wasn't really true. I had more than a ball and a stick. But, and I just said, it depends on what you grew up around when you were a child. And parents only, most of the time, raise their children the way they were raised, unless they make a conscious effort to change that, to break the cycle, to say, I'm not going to raise my children that way, or I'm not going to be that type of parent, I'm not going to be that type of wife, I'm not going to be that type of husband. So, I mean, my daughter's only 12, and she's already picking up on things like that, from what she sees at her friends, or with her friends' parents, or, how her friends speak about their parents, and, and the different dynamic between our home and that. So, and I thought it was a very insightful conversation that we had at 7:30 in the morning. I wasn't expecting that early, but to go that deep.
Thinking about last night.
She had been thinking about it for a minute, and I'm like, oh my Lord.
She's not a non-sleeper.
No, she sleeps.
Okay.
It's my son and I.
Just check it.
Yeah, she's not totally like mommy.
Gotcha.
She's more so like her father.
As if she's
a non-sleeper.
She's that thinker.
She's the thinker, like like her father.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
So then that so funny that kind of morphs into why women feel that they can go on vacation,
right? And
the men can't with their friends,
right?
So what made you think about that question?
So I thought about because I've just thought about my entire life, and when I've gone on vacation with my friends, and I've been very adamant about I need girl time, I need to hang out with my girls, and this, that, and the other thing, and then I've looked at some of my girlfriends and their relationships, and when it came time for their guys to want to go on a golf trip, or spend a weekend in Vegas, or whatever, I would look at some of my same girlfriends, and they're like, no. Like,
they said no.
Yeah, they're like, why does he need to go it's so, I was like, wait a minute, you just went to Vegas for a week, or you just went to Florida, or you went to Aruba, or wherever we went. And so I think it's a double standard mostly by women. Like, it's okay for us to do it, but it's not okay for the men to do it. And I think the real fear is...
Now, were they single?
No, they were in relationships.
They were...
Not married, but dating.
They weren't married.
Right, I wasn't married either.
Right.
We were all dating. But even married couples, even some married couples, they're like, it's okay for the women to go away, but then it becomes a little bit trickier for the husband to get away. And I think women have an innate fear. I'm not going to say all women, but a lot of women have an innate fear. I don't share that fear, but if their spouse goes somewhere with the guys and they could be all married men, or there could be like one single man in the group, that the guys are going to get in trouble, and they're going out there to be like raucous.
What in trouble meaning what?
Like they're going to go...
They're going to go to jail? Like
no, not go to jail. Like they're going to go do something stupid, like get drunk and then sleep with somebody, and then, you know what I mean? Like just do some stupid stuff.
Oh, I see.
Right. So, and then I think they also feel like...
But don't the women do that though?
No.
What do you mean? The women don't go out and get drunk?
No, not really. Not my friends. I mean, we don't go out and get drunk.
But it could happen.
It could happen.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, there's some women.
But it could, there's got to be something.
Yeah, I'm sure there's women.
I'm
not speaking for all women, but I'm sure there are women that go out there, get drunk, get rowdy, get crazy, because that's their release. But I think the bigger issue is that women have an issue with men needing time alone away from them. Because it speaks to an inner fear of, is he pulling away from me? Am I not enough for him? Is he not in love? Like, why does he need to go away? Why does he feel like he needs to pull away from me?
That's how I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But women want to pull away from men.
Women feel like they cater to men so much that they deserve.
They cater to
right, that they deserve their time.
What cater? I don't know. What cater?
I'm just speaking broadly.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know if there's that much catering going on.
I mean, a woman will build a man's ego. A woman will be there to support her man. A woman really does a lot more from the sidelines to encourage her man. And over centuries, we may not have seen that reciprocated from the male gender. So just saying, it's broad. It's my opinion.
But within current day, though. Current day.
Even current day.
You don't think men are encouraging their women?
I mean, I'm sure there's some.
So you think for the most part they're not?
I'm not saying for the most part. I'm just saying there's a good number of
so the majority, but you're saying the majority. I'm trying to get.
I'm not saying the majority. I'm saying a little bit more than average.
That's majority.
A little more than average, but less than the majority. So like a little bit more than few, but less than several. Just
put a number to that.
I'm not putting a number to anything. I'm putting a disclaimer out there. I'm just saying. No, honestly, like I look around and I'm like really observant. I listen to what people say and then I watch them because I listen to what they don't say.
I think I think that's part of it, but I think I'm more a little bit more deeper is that women can share. Women need to do this to share more.
Mm.
So they would rather share with their girlfriends because their girlfriend may be more empathetic and say not necessarily what they need to hear. So, oh girl, you got this, you can do it, and not say something like, oh no, that's not gonna work. Take Girls Trip, for example.
Right.
Remember when she was doing that and she got shot down?
Right.
And they kind of she was annoyed. I don't remember.
Right.
It's an issue about whatever was happening.
Right.
And so if you were saying that to your partner, they may, they're not going to it's especially a male, they're not going to be so empathetic. They're like, well, why are you doing that?
Right.
Or because we're going to jump and say, oh, why don't you do this? And they don't want to, they don't want to hear that. So it's great. They can go out with their girlfriends, go away, and yes, they get to let their hair down a lot because they don't have to worry about it. I do agree with you on the whole caregiver sense.
Right.
They don't have to be the caregiver
Right.
at this particular moment. They can just be insert your name.
Right.
Whatever, and if they want to act rowdy or they just need to go off and I can read or hike or whatever it is that they're interested in, they get to do that. And maybe when they are with their husband, they're on edge. But I think, but I don't think men don't get to do. I wouldn't say that men necessarily that men aren't allowed to do that.
Aren't allowed to go on vacation?
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying not all men. I said not all men.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that there's certain, some, and I didn't say all women, I said there's some women that have a hard time allowing their men, whether it be a husband or a significant other, to go out on a vacation on their own.
Well, I think men do need, but
men
on the flip side, men need
I agree.
Men need a specific thing to have a vacation about. So they're not just going to go to some island or something just to have a vacation.
Right.
It's got to be centered around activity.
Right.
And so if there's no activity going on, they're not necessarily, because it's just like Las Vegas. So I went, me and my best friend and a couple of his friends of his, we went on a guy's vacation. So, but it was centered around basketball. If there was no basketball, we wouldn't have been going.
No, there's some guys that just go, hey, we're going to take a weekend in Vegas.
But it's still centered around something.
No.
Yeah, it is. They're gambling.
Okay, gambling.
So it's centered around an activity.
An activity.
That's what I mean. It's not just centered around, oh, I'm just going to go.
To go and hang on.
Yeah. So.
Right. I just think that it was just a very interesting thing for me to think about. I just thought about it. I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I would have never thought about the fears thing.
Yeah. Because when women do that, we do that a lot. Not me, because I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't. And I'm not one of those women. I'll be like, girl, you could do this. I'll be like, no, that's stupid. I will tell you, like, that is dumb. So you usually wouldn't want to. Don't take me on a girl trip because I'll tell you to your face that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting. And I look at certain dynamics, and I'm like, I always have to ask my friends when they're asking me something or my opinion. I'm like, do you want me to tell you the truth? Or do you want me to make you feel good? because they usually don't want the truth.
We like hardcore.
Well, I'm just truthful.
So I was right. The truth. They don't want to hear the truth.
They don't want to hear the truth sometimes.
So.
And then even when they say they want the truth and you give them the truth and they get mad at you and they stop talking to you for 2 years, they didn't want the truth. And they blame you for being the person.
So you've had that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
More than once.
You're not pulling back though.
No. I'm going to change who I am just because you can't handle the truth.
No, I'm not saying that. You know. Do you go back and like Jack Nicholson? Do you really want to handle the truth?
Yeah.
You can't handle the truth.
Like,
you should say that.
I have.
Oh, and they still want it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
And that's what I said. I said, okay, well, you don't have to talk to me. You don't have to like me.
Mm-hmm.
But I said my piece. I'm out.
That's good. That's good. So then the last one is this: what does your spouse appreciate about you?
I don't know.
You don't know. Wow.
I know. I probably got I'm a good mom.
But that's not about
me personally. I don't know. I mean,
that's when you get a homework assignment.
Shut your face.
You get a homework assignment.
Shut your face.
Yeah, no. A homework assignment. I can't wait. You get to report out. Yeah.
I could make something up. But no, I don't know. I mean, because I don't know.
Wouldn't it be good to know?
That's not my love language. Like, my love language is not words of affirmation at all. My love language is acts of service. So I don't need to hear.
You don't need to hear. You may not need to hear it, so that's why it doesn't say, but wouldn't it be good to know? Doesn't matter.
Is it going to change anything?
It might.
Like what?
I don't know. Depends on what he says. It's not going to change.
No.
You're like, it is what it is?
I'm still going to be the same me. You know, maybe he likes the fact that I'm truthful. Maybe.
I mean, but okay. I would think it would be good to know. Okay, maybe he needs to know. Does he know what you appreciate about him? All right, let's flip it.
Hmm? Does he know?
Does he know? Yeah. Does he know?
He does.
So he knows.
Yeah.
What you appreciate about him, because he needs that.
Yes. His love language is words of affirmation.
Oh, so it's the love language thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's all about understanding everybody's
love
language and how to communicate.
Okay, great. So your love language is service.
Yes.
So how do you fulfill that in your relationship?
Service?
Yeah.
Like his?
Yeah. Yo, how do you fulfill that in your relationship? So you get that.
How do I get that?
Yeah.
Oh, he just cleans the house.
Oh, he has to do that for you.
Yeah, that's my love language. That's what you do to make me happy.
Make you happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would say you love by serving.
No. My love language is acts of service, which means if you want to show me that you love me, do something. Pick up a broom.
Do something. Pick up a broom.
Clean a room, clean a bathroom, take out the trash, do the dishes. That's how you show me you love me.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm a singer, songwriter, writer, so I know all the words.
Oh, you know all the words.
I don't need to hear.
You sang all the words.
I sang them.
So you know all of them.
Sometimes when you say things too many times in repetition, it loses its meaning.
So but then why do they keep singing them then?
Because people need to hear it. Because people's love language is words of affirmation.
Okay, all right.
It's not mine.
Okay, good. I get it. But I still think that it would be nice to know.
Would you like me to ask him?
Well, you're going to have to do it anyway.
I'm going to have to do it anyway.
Yeah, because that's your homework assignment.
I don't get homework assignment. It's not class. Who said this is class?
I gave you an assignment.
You can't give me an assignment?
Why not?
Because I didn't sign up for class.
I know, but this is just for our audience, so I'm sure they'd love to know.
If you would like to know, then you have to let me know right now.
Yeah.
If you would like to know.
Send a comment that you want to know.
Send a comment, and if you send a comment, then I will find out what he appreciates about me.
Yeah,
no
come
comment.
on, Shannon, Laurel, and I'm just,
No comment.
Laura, hi guys.
No news.
Maverick, yes. Hey, what's up, Maverick? Yes, we need to have you write a comment on does she need to know why she's appreciated. That'd be very, very important, I think.
Maybe.
you know?
There's no movement, so I'm thinking they agree with me.
Maybe they do.
I think so.
Because, I mean, you know, appreciate, like I tell my spouse what I appreciate about her.
Really appreciate that.
I appreciate she's able to she's able to balance the family. She can be stern and truthful and honest, but she can also be encouraging. And that's a great balance.
That's a good balance.
Which I may not necessarily have, especially if I'm in a mood with that person. I'm usually more easygoing, even keel, happy, but when I'm annoyed, then it's gonna be a little tough. It's gonna be tough. That day, let's say it's shut down. What you clicking on your lip before? No, it's not a shutdown, but it's clear that it takes me a while to get past the annoyance, because it's like, okay, I need to be in that annoyance period.
I could not be around you with that.
Yes, why not? It's not that bad.
Because I would be in your face like, why are you not talking? That's stupid. It's over.
So that's just gonna make it worse.
I know.
And you don't care because you think you need to win all the time.
Absolutely.
And it's not always about you winning.
It's always about
It's not. You always say competition. It's not about
life.
Is
a competition.
Life is not always a competition.
Life is always a competition. Everything in life is a competition.
It is not.
It's the way of capitalism.
But you're not always capital with your spouse. That's the issue. You're not competing with your spouse. You're supposed to be a team. That might be another topic. I still don't get that. It's like, what are you competing for? Yeah, that's going to be another topic. Because I'm like, come on. Are you serious?
Not all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
So, no potpourri today.
No.
Unless you have something that you just thought about.
No, I didn't.
That's right, because I figured you would, so you could have the last word and you could win. No. Okay, great.
This is not a winning situation.
Oh, okay. So, leave a comment. If you enjoy the program, what are some of the things you'd like to see? Once again, this is Couples Conversation. I'm Keith. This is Aileen, and we are really glad to be here.
Thank you.
Couple of things. If you want my book, In the Paint, send me an email, info@strivetossucceedcoaching.com, and I'll make sure to send you the link. And I think your book will be hopefully coming out soon.
Yes. So I finished my book this week. So I'm in the editing phase, and then as soon as everything's finished and it's printed, I'll let you guys know.
I can't wait to read that one.
It's going to be really good.
Page turner.
It is going to be a page turner. You're going to find out a lot about me, a lot about my marriage, and some of the stuff that we went through. So a little bit more transparency than you might see here.
Okay, great. And also, there's a retreat coming up, Couples Conversation Retreat, going to be September 21st to the 23rd at a wonderful space called Noble Lane Mansion. It's part of the Aquaba Inn series. So if you are also interested in that, feel free to leave a comment or email me at info@strivetossucceedcoaching.com. You guys have a great weekend, and we look forward to seeing you 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.